Is the music going or is it stopped? I think it stopped.
The music never stops, Joel. The music never stops.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Happy Friday. How the heck are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever.
It's only been 2 weeks, but I can understand that. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to take in. I get that.
What's the latest?
Just busy. So busy right now, which is awesome. Like 2 escrows going on right now and just like a lot of stuff going down. So I cannot complain. How about you?
Lots of coordinating, I see.
Yes.
Lots of paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome, though. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we've been keeping ourselves busy as per usual, but we also do have something exciting that has happened. Our show, The Madams, has been accepted into the Latino media market, and we are going to be able to pitch to distributors and funders and agents in 2 weeks.
That's so awesome. That's wild. That's wild. Did you have any idea this was possibly coming or like this? I mean, that's huge.
I mean, we applied, I feel like it was forever ago, but it wasn't that long ago. And we applied with 2 different projects. And then we received word that The Madams has been accepted just last week. So it's just been very exciting trying to figure out what it all means and get prepared and hope for the best.
That is absolutely incredible. Good for you guys. That's fantastic. And I love the theme song. You know how much I love that song.
Oh, yes.
That song is just
great music for that.
Which is interesting because I've listened to her other stuff and it is nothing like that at all.
Yes.
And so I'm like, who is this? It's awesome. It's just so great. But seriously, congrats. You guys have a lot going on.
Thank you. This is big moves. We're hoping that the positive energy and force just keeps on going because we love this project and we're excited to see what we could do with it.
So someday we'll all be able to sit there and be like, we knew you when, and then you won't even be talking to us or just be like ignoring us when you walk down the street, be sending your assistants to talk to us and everything. We get it. I know how it's going to roll. We all see it.
Never do that.
Well, so we should probably get to today's guest. Super excited. Anybody who's a member of the chamber has met this man at some point in time. And if you haven't, you're going to today, and you're going to love him and his laugh because it is just infectious. Okay. So we have Mike Harriel. Mike Harriel Photography. So come on in and join us, Mike.
Come on down, Mike. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
We just want you to laugh this entire time because seriously, okay, did everybody hear that? Like that was like the best laugh. I love that.
I never thought it was unique.
It's just, but it's like a pure joyous sound. Like I don't know how. I mean, it just makes. It's just It's like yeah.
Also very calming too. Your whole voice just is very calming to listen to. So you gotta the radio if you're.
Yeah, I've been told that, and I have 5 daughters, so it's really you have to be calm around daughters.
True.
5.
I used to have hair.
Oh.
So what are their ages?
My oldest is my oldest is 40. I think she's 40. And I tell her I think she's, 35. And every time it's like, Dad, no, so there's 40, there's 35, 31, 30, and then the youngest is 19. And so I don't understand how that happened because I'm only 29.
Yes.
I was gonna say, like, none of this makes sense because
doesn't make sense.
Daughters.
So let's talk photography because now that's what we're going to talk about today, your photography. So how did you get involved with it? That's the first question, and I'm sure we'll have
it started many years ago. I mean, I've always been a visual person, and so in high school and college, I entered the USC as a cinema major because I wanted to be a filmmaker. So I was a cinema major and a photography minor. I thought those two went well together. And I was fortunate enough to have back then they called them work study jobs. I'm not sure what they call them now. Oh, you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
I was a darkroom technician for the photographer in the USC News Bureau, and I mean he was a trained photographer who just pretty much taught me everything that, not everything that he knew, but he taught me a lot, and it just kind of ramped up from there. I worked for the police department, Compton Police Department, as a crime scene photographer for a while. I was the photo chief of the El Rodeo, which is the USC yearbook, and just kind of went on from there. And I just love the media, and really I just love telling stories visually. You know, they say that one image, you know, has 1,000 words to it, and really I see that one image tells a story, and I think that's really why I enjoy it. And oftentimes I get asked, well, why don't you do video? And you know, I explain to people it's really hard to hang a video on the wall because I think it's important that if you have something that affects you emotionally or gives a emotional response from you, whether it's someplace that you visited or an image that you recall, you know, you want to display it. And a lot of people, they have thousands of pictures on their phone, and I just don't get it. You know, images, iconic images are meant to be printed and displayed.
Wow. I have to go back and ask you about what your experience being a crime scene photographer was like. That is so fascinating. And I'm sure we've all, you know, seen the photographers in films and different things. Like, can you just tell us a little bit about what it was even like? Because I imagine that's like essential to everyone on the case.
Yeah, it was really interesting. On my first assignment, the detectives and everyone, they were worried as to whether or not I could handle the gore, because I guess they had a couple of photographers who couldn't handle the gore. And so you know, my first assignment was a guy who was basically shot in the head. It was a gang shooting, and you know, I looked at it like a movie, looking at it through the camera, the viewfinder in the camera. It's almost like a movie, and so it, of course, it didn't affect me negatively. It was very interesting. The thing about being a crime scene photographer is up until that point, my photography consisted of people looking their best and smiling and being happy. And here I'm photographing people who were victims of crimes or who have had something negative happen to them, and they are basically at their worst. And it was just a really different aspect of photography, but it was very interesting because I would prepare exhibits for court and you know, testify if needed to. And this was during the days of film, so there was no digital back then. It was all film, so you know, very different from today.
I imagine that's probably the best way to kind of disenfranchise yourself a little bit from the situation, is that because you approached it as cinema or a cinematic piece versus I'm here to document this horrific thing that just happened. I'm actually going to tell the story. So I think mentally that probably helps a lot, because I would imagine a lot of people take that home and they're just, because you see the worst of society.
Yeah, and you know, that reminded me of something like the movie MASH, you know, where they would be operating on folks and they're telling jokes and they're being humorous. And I think one of the characters said, we do this so that we don't, you know, go crazy, because there's so much disaster that we're looking at. And I found that a lot of the officers were the same way, where they were a little humorous about some things, you know, never amongst the folks that were subjected to the crime. And a lot of them said, hey, we do this just so we can stay sane, because we're seeing, you know, all this craziness go on day in and day out. So they have to do something to kind of separate themselves.
Do you feel like too, in terms of like how you've developed, along your journey as a photographer and sort of like your artistic vision and approach, do you feel, since you've seen obviously like the worst and the best, that the worst helped you to photograph the best, or do you feel like there's any kind of, linkage to portraying humans?
Yeah, the linkage is there's a story in everything, in every image. And of course, some of the images at the police department I couldn't capture, but I could see them and I could recognize it. And so that does help me. I took an image a couple of weeks ago of my daughter and my grandson. And my daughter had graduated college. And this is somebody who has struggled with education for a very long time, but she finally figured it out and it solved that. And this photograph of her and my grandson, and they're kneeling down, and she's, kind of fidgeting with him, and he has her cap on, her graduation cap. And that image, that's probably one of my favorite images as of lately, to see that, because that tells a story of her not only, being a successful single parent, but graduating and going on to do something that she wanted to do. So those are the type of stories that I like to tell with my images.
Now, are you crying as the proud father and grandfather while that's happening? I would probably be bawling hysterically.
I'm capturing it,
You can
and
say yes, it's okay.
I know, people think I only cry on sports events, it's when I'm capturing images, a lot of times I'm, moving around and doing a lot. It's not until you look at it on the computer screen when you really see it, and it's like, wow, look at this, and what story is this telling? Is when it really kind of hits you and has an effect on you.
That's so cool.
I know too that you have some photos that you have with, I was going to say brought with you, but we're not in the same place. So that you have, do you want to talk to us about your covers that you have taken?
Yeah, so one of my favorite things is working with Christina in the LAX chamber and shooting the covers for the magazine. So I showed this one. Joel is paying me to show you this because he's on it. But this is a cover, one of my cover images. This one as well. This is the last one, and this one here. And the cool thing I like about shooting the covers and working with Christina is she has a vision, and she comes to me and says, I have this idea. And so we talk about it, and then I tell, okay, let's go scout out locations, and we go and we spend half the day going around to different places, looking at locations, and I'm looking at light and things of that nature. And then I put together a mock-up for her and say, hey, this is what I see, and she either agrees or disagrees, or we add to it. So it's how I work with all my clients is understanding their vision. Some people just say, hey, I need pictures. And then I start to ask questions. Well, pictures of what? What are you going to use them for? What's the purpose? I ask a bunch of questions so that I can understand what they really want, so that I can deliver that they need, so that it will be useful to them. And I think it's really important to just ask a bunch of questions and spend some time going to locations. I hate showing up somewhere cold and they say, okay, we need you to take a picture. It's like, so I take the time to do my homework.
So who are some of your, okay, so actually really quickly, so I used to be an art director in my past iteration, where I was the one who's saying, okay, I need these photos, and you would have hated me because I'm like, oh, this is the story, I need you just to go shoot it, and you would have been like, oh dear God, not you again. So I apologize to every photographer I did that to. But so who are some of like your favorite when it comes to photographers? Like, who are some of the people that you just love?
So I have a couple. I think well, there's a gentleman who does landscapes, which is Peter Lick, and so I love his landscapes. So he has galleries. I was in Las Vegas a couple of weeks ago. He has a gallery there, so I would like to go and just look at his photos to get inspiration. And really, what he does has inspired me to start another component of my photography business, which is wall art. And so I'm putting together an inventory of images so that individuals, companies can put in their lobbies, can decorate the hallways, their office buildings. I've been in hospitals and God, the walls are barren and people are sitting in the lobby waiting. It's like, they need to have some images that would look good, that will kind of help them forget about whatever they're going through and make the wait easier. Yeah, and so I'm working on just putting an inventory together of large images that can span 3x5 or even some a little smaller, that can help the viewer immerse themselves in a location.
Kind of like the one over your shoulder?
Yeah, that, and I have so these are some that they line my walls. Where are we at here?
Like nice floors.
Yeah, that's what. So yeah, so I put a lot of images on the wall. Some of my favorites and
that's awesome.
Things that make me happy, and that's kind of one of the things that I do. I try to travel a lot, and so with my traveling, I'm going somewhere to. This isn't working.
We are live.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'll leave it alone.
No, that was awesome. This is what I love about doing live, that you just don't
live TV.
Yeah. If thought was not broken, you just kept going. It was.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You like to travel, and along the way, you take these photos.
Yes, and so that's probably my favorite thing to do: is travel to different locations and just capture those images and share them, and hopefully they create an emotional response with folks who a lot of times they say, I want to go there, or where is it? And so I get that a lot.
I love that. That's just a great way to look at it. So now you mentioned Christina, obviously. She is our grand poobah. So this is obviously with the Alex Coastal Chamber. So tell us about your interaction with the chamber. How did you get involved? Like, just, yeah.
So, one thing that I like about the chamber is that they're recognized as being influential in the business community. So there are not many chambers where elected officials will show up, to get buy-in for their ideas. And Christina has done a really good job with public policy, and she just started the diversity and inclusion committee. And so she's very thoughtful, and I like that about her. I interact with a lot of chambers, and she is LAX Coastal is one of the best, and other chambers who know her, they try to emulate what she does, and I find these to be the better chambers.
There was our beautiful plug. I don't think we could have said it better ourselves.
Well, I am a huge fan of LAX Coastal just for the value that they provide, and they do. They provide a value. They don't just take your membership dollars.
Yeah.
They do more. They check in, and they provide you with opportunities. I recently went through the certification class to have my business certified as a minority-owned business. And I mean, that was free. And I mean, I've seen no other chambers doing that. And that's awesome. I mean, that alone was worth membership. And you didn't have to be a member to attend, but my God, why wouldn't you
Don't say
want to
that
be?
part. Don't say that
Well,
part. No.
well, I mean, but I mean, it's like, why wouldn't you be? If you
Exactly.
have a chamber that's offering those type of services, and that's just a small amount of the services. The power hours, I've learned so much from the power hours and the individuals. So Christine is very thoughtful about what she provides for her members.
That's awesome. We love
Man, I hope she better appreciate everything good that people say. I mean, it's pretty freaking awesome. The testimonials that she's getting, she needs to be making like a sizzle reel of just all the good stuff that people say and just going to town with it, in my opinion.
It's a perfect testimonial. But I have a question. I know you're developing this beautiful wall photography aspect of your business. Are there people or organizations that you're looking to get involved with that any of the chamber members watching might be able to assist you with?
You know, I'm eventually going to approach a lot of the hospitals and you know, provide you know, I'll even provide an image or two free for them to, or on loan. I've done that before on loan, to let it hang and see if there's a response or see how it works. And, you know, then if they want to keep it, you know, they can purchase it and they can purchase more. So, you know, hospitals, probably looking at a lot of the other Fortune 500 companies who have, you know, possibly a need for images. You know, just all industries. I mean, not too long ago, I did something for the Westchester Town Center, where I photographed, you know, all along the boulevard there, and that was fun. I had to Photoshop out a lot of homeless folks, but you know, and the whole idea with that is, you know, you want people to come and visit and businesses to come. So you know, it's just a yeah, it's just a great thing to do.
So you're born and raised in the area? Is this like home?
Yes,
That's
yes,
awesome.
born and raised.
So how's it been watching LA, Westchester, all these areas grow? I mean,
So I see them changing. Everything is changing. It's different. It's really different, you know, with all the things that are going on just in the world, and you know, so it's always good when you can find something to capture. I mean, one of my favorite images over the last couple of years is when COVID hit, and at the Westchester mural, one of the ballet or dance groups went outside and they put up the stage and were rehearsing outside. And so I got a really nice photo of that. And, you know, it was just really nice to see how an organization can pivot, you know, during a crazy time, and still, you know, do what they do. And so, I mean, that's something you would never think of, but, you know, because pandemic hits, you know, you have to start to think differently. And so everything is changing, and you know, everything is new.
so do you think that like if you went back, and I'm sorry, I had this just popped in my head, going back over time, do you feel that you've kind of been able to document in a way like the evolution of LA and Westchester from what you've seen and grew up to where it is now?
And, you know, probably not Westchester, LA, but just, you know, just like, for instance, I always, you know, my goal is to visit every national park in the country. And so there are some national parks that I've been to several times, like Yosemite. I may go to Yosemite 4 or 5 times a year. And, you know, some people ask, why do you go so many times? Because it's different every time. You know, because of the rushing water, a rock may change. And when that rock moves and changes, then the cascade may be different. And, you know, there's so many things that change. And so, yeah,
I love that.
we're in a constantly changing world.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
I love that too. You get to see and capture the evolution, which is so beautiful and so fascinating. And I love all of your photography. I think it's really beautiful and moving.
Thank you.
And now, speaking of moving, it's time to move on to the next. See, how's that for a very subtle segue here? We're going to move on to the segment of the show where we get to kind of put everybody on the spot a little bit. Are we ready?
Okay, Mike, are you ready? Drum roll, please.
Let's do it.
Welcome to Binge Live, the lightning round. Well, you will have 3 seconds to answer the following questions. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
First question, what is your spirit animal?
Jaguar.
Ooh, love that. If you could rename yourself, would you? And what would your new name be?
Probably initials like JD or something like that.
I love it. And what is your favorite photo that you've ever taken?
Hawaii. A waterfall in Hawaii that I found by accident.
That's awesome. Okay, go with me on this one. Money as we know it no longer exists. What do we use as currency?
Photos.
Photos! So interesting.
I mean, what else would a photographer say?
I love that. And what is your go-to camera lens?
It depends on the subject. I have a lot of gear.
And what genre of music would your band be if you had one?
Oh, it'd be jazz.
Ooh. Do you have a favorite jazz musician?
Dave Cobbs.
And what is your favorite go-to hangout place? Either restaurant, bar?
My favorite hangout place is really just nature, being outside, where I can sit and eat or drink. So it's outside.
And do you prefer thunder or lightning?
Thunder.
Awesome. And if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would you eat?
A ribeye steak, medium rare.
Okay. Yeah.
See, I didn't need 3 seconds for that one.
I love that. Great job, Mike. You did wonderful.
I think Mike
Thank you.
I think this was the first time of a Binge Live rapid fire that nobody ever stopped to think for a second. You're like, Jaguar,
Yeah.
Hawaii waterfall, ribeye steak,
Well,
like what you got?
I mean, you gave me the rules. You said 3 seconds, so I'm trying to.
How did you find this waterfall in Hawaii? Like,
Good story. So there are 2 waterfalls on the Hilo side of Hawaii that are full of tour buses and people. One is I think it's called the Boiling Pot, and the other one is Rainbow Falls. And if you try to get to Rainbow Falls, there's no parking. There are all these huge buses. Everybody's out. They're taking their little pictures. And then the Boiling Pot is pretty much the same way. So I was leaving from the Boiling Pot, and I made a wrong turn. And I turned in a neighborhood. And I'm driving down this neighborhood, and I look over to the left, and I see this image. And I'm like, oh my God. And there's nobody there. The street is too narrow for buses to go down. And so I stop, pull out my camera gear, and I'm setting up and I'm doing stuff. And this guy walks by who's a resident. He's like, hey, how you doing? And he's like, hey, so what are you taking a picture of? And I point out, he says, oh, you should have been here last week. There were a whole bunch of turtles sitting around there. And, so it was really cool. So I spent about an hour just taking a bunch of different shots and, long exposures to get the water nice and silky. And, to this day, I've never seen a picture of that area other than mine. And it was a really nice find.
That's so beautiful. The secret water.
Yeah, and one thing I do when I go on my little excursions, I'm always going off the beaten path. I'm like, oh, I wonder what's down there. And so sometimes it takes me hours because I'm, going off the path.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I love the fact that you just kind of are like, that's basically you're along for the ride of life which is fantastic.
Yeah, the journey is sometimes better than the destination.
That's for sure. That's true.
That's awesome.
And I have to ask one more question. I'm sorry. What do you think of when you see people taking photos of everything with their phones?
I mean, I think it's great. You know, I know a lot of people think because they have a phone, they're a photographer, and some are. I see some images. You know, sometimes I see clients or new clients, and you know, I ask them, "What have you had done in the past?" And I see some of their past images, and I'm like, "Oh my God, you know, this photographer uh, didn't crop, didn't color correct, didn't do anything, just took a bunch of pictures and said here." And so I try to explain that, you know, one, you're not going to get that from me. You're only going to see the best, and you know, it's going to. I have people who sometimes they look at my images and they say, "Wow, that doesn't look real," and I like that. I think that's kind of my style. Is that's the way that you get immersed in a location. Is it doesn't look real, but that's how it looks when you're there.
That's awesome.
Almost dreamlike.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
This was awesome. This was so much fun. I love this.
We can talk all day, Mike.
You know, I could talk all day too about photography.
Well, this is great. So what's the best way for people to get a hold of you and learn more?
You go to my website, MikeHarrielPhotography.com. It has all my contact information. And one thing I wanted to mention real quickly is there is the oldest photography association in the country, PPA, Professional Photographers of America, and I'm going through the certification process now to be a certified professional photographer. And what that designation does, it separates me from folks who don't have the designation, and that you'll know that when you hire me, you're not going to get well, gee, I hope this photographer does a good job. You know, you're gonna make sure that I give you things that are in focus and right exposure and look good according to the conversations we would have had ahead of time on what images you want and what you're hoping to get out of my service.
Well, that's awesome. Congratulations. That's going to be huge for you and well served.
Thank you.
Very cool. I love how he's very zen for this Friday morning. Like
I know.
I'm like, this is yeah, great speaking voice, great laugh. It's like very soothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's perfect.
Okay, Joel, where do I send your check to? I'm sure I owe you some money.
It was when we go off air. Just make it out to Christina. She'll send it over to me. But seriously, thank you so much for doing this. This was a great Friday morning, and especially before the holiday weekend. Like, I love getting to, like, we've met before, but we've never had the chance to really have conversations like this, which is just so great. Like, I love learning this side, seeing this side of you. It's beautiful.
I appreciate it. This was really fun.
Awesome.
Me too. Thank you, Mike. And you heard, best way to get in touch with him, reach out. You've seen the amazing work. And thanks, Mike, for being on. And be sure to stay tuned for our next episode of Binge Live.
Yes.
Thank you all.
Thank
Have
you.
a good 4th.
Wonderful weekend, everyone. And happy
Alrighty.
4th.
Happy 4th.
Alrighty.